Okay.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. So we're here together with Pierre. My name is Julie, and to talk about a project we did last year to prepare maps for printing with spot colors. Lots of patterns using Qgis, Scribus, and a little help from Inkscape and Ghostscript as well on the way. And so, yeah, it was quite a very particular context, which I will now explain. But before I start with that story, just a small word on who we are and where we work. So we both work at, and we are, it's a cooperative workers in Brussels called Atelier Cartographique. And we design softwares for to publish maps, but then we also sometimes design maps to be printed. But yeah, I guess you can also check our website if you want to learn more. And so today we're here to speak about this project we had last year. We were commissioned by a cultural center in Lessines, so it's a town in Hainaut province in Belgium. We were commissioned by the cultural center there called Centre Culturel René Magritte, and it's called René Magritte because so the surrealist painter was actually born there and then left to Brussels, but then came again several times to Lessines to have walks with his friend, another surrealist poet, Scutenaire. And so this cultural center is working on this new itinerary for walking and cycling, and therefore they wanted to have a set of maps to be able to understand better what was there and where the path could possibly be. So this is a bit the outline, so we'll go through the process of the cartographic project, how it went, and then some decisions we made to have a map with very few colors and patterns, and then how it went to, how we went along with producing the maps with Qgis, which was our first choice. So Lessines, it's a place full of holes. I mean, the holes if you see them on the map, they're actually bigger than the city center. The quarries have been present on maps for more than 200 years, and it's porphyric stone, so used to make cobblestones. A lot of paved ways in Brussels use those stones, but it says they also went to New York City and Champs-Élysées. So I mean, small town, but then it expanded. And so we went there to see how it was today. And so we had a lot of walks together with people from the town, people from the cultural center. This is the hometown of, on the left, the home birth house of René Magritte. And then this other passage led to an abandoned quarry. There are also some specific sport fields that have this, it's a ball pelote, it has this very strange shape, which we can then find back on the maps. A lot of places for walking, but where the passes are there, but also disappear. And so this is this is the Ferraris map, and so it's from like 1773 or something, and we can see that so Lessines is there, and we can see here that the quarries were already present, but it used to be like many small quarries, and people would just get stones from there to just use them more locally. And then we have the first aerial photography, so 1952, I think, where we can see that there are more and bigger scale quarries Yeah, and so then I guess the queries was sort of the entry point for the map making, because it was quite fascinating how it started by small queries all over, and then to now become just the only queries in activity is just one, and it's called Carrière Unie du Porphyre, so the United Quarries of Porphyre, and it's the big one on the right there. And so we redrew the queries from ancient maps, so to have all the different temporal layers appear together. And for that we used Qgis, which could you just raise your hand if you've used Qgis or are familiar with it? Okay. So maybe I will introduce a bit how it works for us who use it, and then maybe spatial data, is that something you are familiar with or have been working with? Could you also raise your hands just so I know? Okay, great. So spatial data is like data, but then you do have a geometry attached to it, which can be either a point, a line, or a polygon, and which therefore you can style. And QGIS allows you to, maybe I will go here. So on the left side you have your layers of data, and then here you have your canvas, and basically for each layer you style it, you style the whole layer. So either you just say, okay, this is the river, I wanted this color, or you can go into categorized or rule-based layer styling. And so to do that, you just use attributes that's in your data to categorize. So for instance, here there was this category of the year of the quarry, and then the lines would then, we decided to draw them in different directions, but here there may be other examples of one layer that can then be styled according to category that are related to its attributes. And then, so this is then this canvas, you can zoom in, zoom out, and so on. But then for printed output, you want to actually decide of a paper size and so on. And then, so there is this layout manager in QGIS. When you have heavy maps, the rendering can be very long. So that's why I just put the rendering map image here. And here, basically, you can decide of the size of a paper, then add some elements, but so scale, some other elements, but mostly maps. And then supposedly, amongst the export options, you can export it as a PDF, and there is an option that says always export as vectors. And then we thought that would be it. We would just have our vector file from QGIS. But somehow, QGIS was not enough, and that's maybe where our small problems started. So we thought there was a CMYK support, but as you can see, it's closed now, but it's like closed from April, and this was in October. But it actually didn't work yet by then. I don't know if Pierre, you want to add something on that, or I just move on.
Well, I can take over if you want.
Yeah?
So this is the crossroad for publishing a map. At this point that you, one way is to rely on your print shop to do the work after that, and you're up to the, I don't know, enthusiasm for your project. But basically, they've got like PDF files that are not proper, actually. And otherwise, we can just do the work ourselves. So it's the moment the team working on this project, like Lénaïque and Julie, just were wondering how to achieve what they wanted to achieve with this document. And I was at the other end of the office and just feeling the struggle. And I just heard PDF a lot of times, and I just had to remember that I was kind of knowledgeable in those kind of technologies. So I just offered my help to sort out the last mile of producing proper PDF for the print shop. And then I arrived in this project. I didn't know much about it. I didn't participate to the nice things that were with this project, like meeting people, going to walks in Lessines, to hear about the history of Magritte and Scutenaire there. I don't know. Each time they were coming back from this expeditions, they looked happy, and I was still at my desk and just like in front of my computer. So I thought maybe I can have a bit of this happiness by participating in this project. Didn't happen. It was the deadline. And so this is the thing, like at the Cartographic, we had a phase where we were doing quite some graphic design work, like related to cartography, but still. So with printouts and deadlines and art deadlines, like not software deadline, where you can say it will be over a bit later, like you've got an event, something. And here it was the case. There was an event. They wanted to distribute all those maps to people attending. And it was super late, and the whole thing was kind of broken. And then when I started to work on this, I realized that all the PDFs that were coming from Qgis were excellent to have a preview on screen, but just we couldn't work with that. So I just like tried to remember what it was about, what was color separation, what was like all the process colors, spot colors. They wanted to have spot colors to have like crisp printouts. And so it was like, yeah, remember that spot color, a named color. So how many colors do you have? Like 4. Oh, we're good. We're good. We're in a CMYK realm, so we can just map colors to this CMYK thing. This is why I told them just like, I'll put the whole thing in a CMYK PDF and we're good. And so just Qgis has this brand new ability at the time of the project, because Auslandia is a big geographical mapping blah blah company in France, and they do a lot of work in different libraries. They're very involved, and they produce a lot of things. They're really good, and they're not like competitors because they're in France and we're in Belgium, so it's good. They're really good guys. And but the thing didn't work. First, to just have an updated Qgis on your laptop and 2 laptops, 3 laptops at the office, it's kind of, it takes time, and just you see the clock running, and just you don't really have a lot of time. So we installed the new Qgis with the patched Qgis to have the same CMYK support on 1 laptop. Tried it out, didn't work. Tried it out again, didn't work. So let's try something else. And it's the whole thing like you're in a rush and you don't know how it will work. And the print shop is calling you back like, where are these PDF files? Because we're not going to print that before your event. So just we try. And then there's this thing of Scribus is there. So we can import the PDF import in Scribus has improved a lot, so it's good. We can have all these documents in Scribus, and from there, you can do almost everything you want, and it will be like a piece of cake to have those proper PDF files. And it almost worked. It really almost worked. If you're very patient, because geographical data, it's massive, so when you export your PDF files, it's a lot of vector graphics, and it's heavy on the machine, and Scribus was kind of slow, let's say, and you have to calm down, have a coffee, and it's okay. And there I came back to Scribus actually at this point. I was like, wow, this is a fantastic package. Like you've got everything you want, really everything you want. The only problem here was not Scribus. Scribus was working perfectly. It's just the source PDF was just fucked up in a way that it was not recoverable. So we had to come back to Qgis And this kind of thing is, it works, because the end of the story, it worked. We have the maps, they're good, and it works. But it's just this thing like, I've got colleagues, they are not really interested in like software. They just they don't. And so, but at the same point, they need to know enough of the software stack to understand what they're doing. So they make an effort, and this effort doesn't pay because the thing doesn't work at the end. And so they have to call for someone that is a bit more knowledgeable to do the thing. But still, so we had a lot of problems, like firstly with spot colors. So we had to get the PDF from QGIS, and then you've got this fantastic color substitution functionality. And so you just spot the colors in the source PDF, which is weird names, but you can get it. And you just say, no, replace that with this Pantone color. And it's really all good, except that you've got a bunch of colors that come from with the PDF, and you just don't know what it is. And it was interesting because I was having the PDF file from Lenaig, the intern, and I was saying, okay, I can spot the 4 colors, the main colors you wanted to do something with, but there are 12 other colors. What I'm supposed to replace them with? And she was like, because she was an intern, I was the developer, she was a bit like, how I do talk with this guy, and she's like very impressed. Just, I don't know. I would try again. So I was trying again. And this was interesting because Scribus is really dedicated to graphic design and typography and everything. It has improved since the time I was using it. I was just like, wow, it works, fantastic. And, but the thing is, QGIS is not for that. So you have things that are fantastic to process geographical data, to do spatial analysis, etc., and even a micro Scribus inside it to output maps, but they don't have the mindset for it. And it showed, in the sense that at some point the person in charge of producing those maps, she had to go through, like, I don't know, dozens of submenus to change the color of each thing one by one, then just to have at the end a palette of color, a swatch of color that was kind of coherent, but it wasn't there as a feature. It was something that she had to do by hand. So this is a kind of thing, this limit, like, because Scribus could be a nice QGIS with some extensions, or QGIS could be a nice Scribus with some extension, but there's a gap. And it's not a gap of feature, actually, because it would be kind of trivial to add. It's just a kind of focus. And this is what I find interesting with this project, is that you've got like 2 software packages that are kind of similar, but they don't talk about the same thing at all. And so they don't talk to the same people at all. And so they don't do the same, like, I mean, nice outputs for maps usually don't care in the QGIS world. Just they want something that's okay, but process color, they don't even mention it. They don't take care of this kind of thing, which is a kind of a pity, because I would say this is another thing, because I've been away from LGM for a long time, and just coming back yesterday, I was just like, oh yeah, true believers in software and progress, etc. And I was just like, oh, I'm not there. And I want to say, because map makers for a long time was super aware of this kind of problems. Like you go to I don't know, mapping museum or whatever. We have like Institut Géographique National in Belgium, that is, and they've got archives, and they've got a guy who is talking about how they used to work there. It was fantastic. They knew everything. You can see the printouts. It's just amazing. It's fantastic posters, if you want. And nowadays, the same institution is printing shit. Like they don't care.
They're not even printing it themselves anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, they had huge building with the printers and the machines, and it's all, they just changed building, left the machines there, and then,
Yeah. So it's another occurrence of computers lowering the quality of things, like quite substantially. And it's a pity, because the tools we've got, and the story we have here is that even tools that are not exactly fitting the job, you can just manage things with that and end up with good quality printing. And this will be my end of the story. No, there's something else to say.
No,
we had a lot of technical problems, so colors.
Yeah, then for the colors, because it was such a long work for Lenaïque to go through each things, and there are 4 maps, and on each map there are actually 2 geographical maps, so that's 8. And so we said, okay, we're just going to open the Scribus file and then look for the colors and replace them by hand. So that was one thing we did.
Transparency.
Yeah, transparency.
She forgot about transparency in some colors.
Transparency screwed up our files.
This is the thing, Scribus files. You just go through, just find and replace, and it's done. It's very good. And there was something. This is another really important package for us is Ghostscript. Ghostscript I didn't follow for last years, but they rewrote their PDF interpreter. Huge work, super performances, but it really hurts on some PDFs now. And so we had this thing like, because the print shop already told us like your PDFs are not okay. So next run, I would check everything before we would send them. And so this is a screenshot of, I had my pipeline to, we're good. You don't have questions actually. And this was the pipeline was, we've got everything nice, and the source PDF file, the Scribus pipeline, the rendering, etc., etc., etc. And in the end, I had this running the separation with Ghostscript to have to be sure. So you can see that this is a successful separation. That there's no black, no cyan, no magenta, no yellow, and everything is with our spot color. It was fantastic. And then the print shop said it was not good.
So it said, hello, Julie, can you send the files again? They're corrupt in our system. Kind regards. So that was 18 November. The presentation, public presentation where we would distribute the map was on 22nd. Yeah.
But we've got the map. Now,
in the end, I don't know, we managed. We sent the files back the same day. They printed it the day after. We went to pick them up. And then... and then we had this very nice
just a tale about technology is what it is. And free software technology is fantastic because you can just move things around, just change things. At some point, I wanted to rewrite the PDF output of Scribus in a few hours. Let's do it. To have those. It was for another problem. You can't just have a color simplification of a bitmap that output spot colors. What's the name for this feature? You want to monochrome, colorize. It just output processed colors. So it was just a matter of changing some lines in this fantastic file that is many thousands of lines.
But it didn't work. So then we just vectorized the illustrations with Inkscape. Worked great. So we could have some illustrations and then the maps on the other side.
Just to say, maybe I guess most of you have worked also with companies working with proprietary softwares, and they struggle to have the same kind of results. They're like, who knows how to convert to a spot color? Just, and they struggle. And so we struggle, but it's not specific to free software, specific to the whole thing is just technology eating reality, and it's messy, but it's nice memories, a lot of tears and laughters, and we were really relieved, happy.
I guess if we had to do it again, we would do it again, but then maybe we would not use Qgis anymore. But because there are other also tools to make maps that are maybe more
I've
adequate.
wrote one also.
For example, the one that Pierre wrote. That's it.
Thanks. Thank you. Before we go into lunch break, which is a little bit longer this time, do we have...
Question?
Exactly. Do we have a question? That was what I was going to say. Sorry. It's the first conference we're doing,
Some years ago, I tried to do something similar on a lower scale, basically. I would have been happy with a successful printout from the copy shop, basically. I didn't use Qgis. I don't recall exactly what I used to create a huge vector file, and then went with this PDF to the copy shop, and they said, this file doesn't render, basically. So I had to do a lot of work to try to figure out how to convert the tree, the forest layer, the forest color and environment shading of the hills and stuff like this to a bitmap to make the file simpler to handle for the printer. Are there any tools you are aware of to do this more easily than I did with Inkscape and hours of waiting for loading? And
just to do the rasterizing?
Yes.
Well, just Ghostscript is fantastic for that.
Okay.
Like
so it's not incorporated into Qgis or something like that to have like...
Qgis is doing some rasterization for its canvas. And because Qgis has a kind of split their program into Qgis and Qgis server. And Qgis server is doing the rasterization for the web map service. You can ask it to rasterize your map projects. But it's a bit convoluted because you have it's not like rasterize that. It's just you have to set up a Qgis server and we'll do the work for you. But basically, it can dump its canvas into a raster file because this is a raster. And they use Qt that can output this raster into a PNG or whatever, so you can do it. But if you've got the PDF, you can ask Ghostscript. Ghostscript is made for this.
For me, the important thing was that streets and country, city names and stuff would still be vector, basically. So
you just want one layer.
The trees.
You just do two maps. Yeah. This project, we ended up like making like 4 or 5 maps for each map. Then 4 or 5 PDF, back with a Podofo impose, which is that's a new name, but it's Podofo is a library to manipulate PDFs. And back in the time, I've bought an Imposer utility program that I still use because I'm proud of it, but it's not the best. And so I could like put the PDF back together, and then we had that as layers in Scribus. But so basically, you just once you've got PDFs, it's like consider it's like EPS files, just graphics that you put there, and you've got like images, thing back, and you put everything back into Scribus. This is the central station for all your graphics, and then you can really polish the whole thing to give for the printer.
I guess another option would be that in Qgis, then you actually you don't put everything on the same map, and then there is this thing called I don't know. It's there, the little eye there. I don't know. It's such a weird icon. But then you can say this layer, this layer, this layer, and then in your layout manager you could have like only the labels. If the labels go really on top of everything, because then otherwise it's trickier. And then put them in Scribus, and then do the color management in Scribus. I think that would work. But sometimes there are just too many woven layers, and then it's not that easy.
To be honest, we make a living of managing those graphic systems with geographic systems, and it's not made for this.
I do see a topic coming up there for workshop next year, maybe. Yeah? Is there any other question? There's one in the back.
I was just curious, after all this effort and finding things out, if you have a write-up so the next person can follow that, or maybe would you like help building a write-up?
Yeah. Not yet. So I'm mean, for now, I only have a crappy piece of paper where everything is written on it, but yeah.
But to be honest,
But we would
once
really-
we finished the
yeah,
job,
we're like, we need to
thought
document
we
this.
had to make a document for all of the problems we had. We have to make something big, and just so the next time we're going to be good. It was a year ago, and then, you know, the next week
deadline.
was another rush, and
Yeah.
another rush, and another rush, and we started to write it kind of yesterday, yeah. But yeah, it is
Hopefully it
the
will,
write-up.
yeah. Hopefully we can write it up.
Yeah,
We will share it with you then.
yeah, it's coming.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.